Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Evolutionary War. It was a crossover. It came out in 1988. Boy, that was a long time ago. 7 years old. And this is actually the conclusion to the whole story. It takes place, obviously, you can see here in the Avengers Annual. And we already covered the X-Men tie-in, which was sort of weird because the Hight Evolutionary is the big bad of the story, but in the X-Men tie-in, he's sort of like the good guy. So we had a weird situation there. And I remember way back when I was a kid, I was collecting Marvel trading cards, and there was like a segment of cards dedicated to famous battles and crossovers. And I remember seeing the Evolutionary War there and seeing for the first time the US agent costume, which during this time, actually, Captain America was wearing that costume. I think he went by the name Captain. And the lineup of the team sort of called my attention because I wasn't too familiar with those characters at the time. Had Grey Hulk on the team, Yellow Jacket, the female version, Hercules, Jocasta, Falcon, Beast, and Cap, obviously, as I mentioned before. And this is actually a team that they're all reservist Avengers, because in the previous story arc, because of Dr. Druid being such a dick to his teammates, he just destroyed the Avengers. The team ends up disbanding, which I already covered in another video. So when this whole crisis with the Hight Evolutionary takes place, there's no Avengers to do any avenging. Well, yes, the West Coast Avengers are still around, but the East Coast, no one's to be found. All these reserve members actually heed a distress call from Jocasta. Hight Evolutionary's men have captured her, trying to extract valuable information from Jocasta's mind. She's able to escape, call in to the Avengers. Captain is the first one to heed the call. Steve Rogers is sort of surprised that there's no Avengers at the base. He realizes something happened. Falcon arrives. Hercules, that I completely had forgotten. He mentions that he was in outer space, the Greek gods during this time. I had to stop there because the garbage truck was creating a racket. Other characters that heed the call, the distress call, we get Grey Hulk, which is Mr. Fix-It. And I'm not sure if the writer realizes that Mr. Fix-It, I think he can only operate at night. That's when he only pops up. Not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the thing with Mr. Fix-It, with the Hulk during this time. I forgot to mention the writer is Walter Simonson. Beast, that during this time he was a member of X Factor. But I always love to see Beast on the Avengers. I feel sometimes he feels much better as a team member of the Avengers than on the X-Men. It sort of feels like the Avengers bring out the best in Beast, while especially as of late, like he's always super dark and somber. I really miss the happy-go-lucky Beast from the 80s. So the Avengers, this new ad hoc team, are going to try to investigate what happened to Jocasta. They find the base where she was captured. They discover all these henchmen that had captured Jocasta in the first place are working for the Hight Evolutionary. Hight Evolutionary, they explain why, what's his motivations, why he's up to all these evil deeds, and basically he wants to reset evolution, humanity. He thinks that a materialistic society has stumped evolution, that humans are going down the wrong path. So he basically wants to reset everything, causing natural disasters across the globe, making this genetic bomb explode. So a new race of intelligent beings can take over and start with a clean slate. So they were starting to investigate, like, where the hell is Hight Evolutionary's base? They go into the sea. That's like where they have an indication. And actually, Hight Evolutionary's activities had provoked a war between renegade Atlanteans under the leadership of Atuma and the Deviants. Both factions are able to leave their differences aside when Hight Evolutionary's gigantic, crazy big ship pops up in the depths of the sea. And Hight Evolutionary is going to make Krakatoa explode. So the Avengers are able to infiltrate Hight Evolutionary's base. And the story itself, like the plot's meh. Like it's really weird. Many of the crossovers during this time would always take place in annuals. Some annuals were better than others. Like some writers were able to take advantage of the crossover that probably was imposed by editorial mandate, and some just basically they just phone it in. They just go through the basics that what they have to present. In this case, Walter Simonson just did the basics. The Avengers infiltrate the enemy base. They hatch up a pretty basic plan, taking them down, and at the end they end up fighting against the big bad guy. The big bad guy is crazy overpowered. Like there's one moment he just doesn't want to deal with the Hulk and he just waves his hand and teleports him away. What Steve Rogers and company's plan is actually they use the logic. Since the Hight Evolutionary was a normal human and he evolved himself into this certain type of demigod, what if they evolve a god, in this case Hercules, and they're going to evolve him into being a super god? So he's going to be like a higher ranking deity. So Hercules is like, okay, I'm not sure what's going to happen to me because of this, but they start evolving him using Hight Evolutionary's tech. Beast, in literally 3 panels, creates this technology that also helps Hercules absorb Hight Evolutionary's attacks. So I really hate when writers do something like that so lazily. They literally, I invented something super highly technological in 3 seconds and it's going to save the day. So Beast pulls a Deus Ex Machina there. But Hercules, super ultra god Hercules, it's not the first time. After this, we're going to see Hercules be an ultra god on another occasion during the Chaos Wars. Hercules, mega powered god. Hercules is able to stop Hight Evolutionary, but Hercules has evolved so much that he just bleeps out of existence. I guess he became one with the reality, and sadly he dies. Obviously, he's going to come back. But what really kills me is that after this, like, the Avengers are on the plane, the base blows up and stuff like that, and they're sort of cracking jokes, like no one's feeling bad for Hercules, or maybe they in this kind of a comic book world, they always presuppose that someone's going to come back. So I'm going to leave this video here. Like, the Evolutionary War wasn't the best crossover ever. I just enjoyed it to see this odd bunch of Avengers working together. And but like reading the whole crossover, it's not really worth it. Like, I'm going to cover the West Coast Avengers tie-in, and that one, like, Walt Simonson put a little bit of effort in that one, but in the West Coast Avengers tie-in, oh man, I can't remember who wrote it, but boy, he really phoned that one in. So I'm gonna leave this video here. See you guys next time. What do you think of Hight Evolutionary? Do you think he's just a cheap Doom knockoff? Do you think he's an interesting villain? You like his angle being like this guy that evolves animals into humans, and he's like a scientist. He's sort of like a benevolent dictator that every once in a while goes off the rails and straight up starts doing really evil things. So put it in the comments below. See you guys next time. Bye.